Well, today I'm talking about 5 things I wish I would have bought earlier in my backpacking career. And you're watching Andy Parrish Outdoors. Well, hey everybody, Andy here, and thanks for joining me today. And like I said, we're talking about 5 things that I wish I would have bought earlier in my backpacking career, but unfortunately, like everybody else, I had to learn the hard way. And, for this, I got notes. I've got like 12 or 13 things that I wish I would have bought earlier, but I've got to cut it down to just my top 5. So now, before we dive into that, all right, the whole thing, this channel is about backpacking and hiking and gear and all of that stuff. So if you like that stuff, just go ahead and subscribe and click the bell and you'll be alerted every time I post new content. There's a ton of new content coming, so what are you waiting for? Go, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, do the thing. All right, let's dive in to the top 5. All right, number 1. Things that I wish I would have bought sooner. My Ultras. Ultra Lone Peaks. Now these are the 4.5s. The first ones I bought were the Lone Peak 4s. And I wish I would have known earlier just how comfortable trail runners in general can be. Okay, and it doesn't have to be the Lone Peaks. There's so many out there, but you don't have to wear the big, burly leather boots like I did. No joke. All right, this is the first thing I wore. These right here. Seriously, these things weigh like 37 pounds each. They're built like tanks. They'll never wear out. These things are like 6 or 7 years old, and they barely show any wear at all. So you don't need these. And they're not that comfortable. I have more blisters from that one trip with those boots than all of my other trips combined. So I wish somebody would have told me, go get some comfortable, either hiking shoes or trail runners, and don't look back. That's my number 1. All right, number 2. I wish I would have bought my Nemo Tensor insulated pad, regular wide, sooner. If somebody would have told me about this 6 years ago, it would have saved me. It would have saved me a lot of headache. This thing is so comfortable at 3 inches thick. My hip doesn't dig into the ground when I sleep on my side like some of the other pads. It has an R rating, about 3.5, so it's plenty warm for 3 seasons. You can take it down to pretty cool temperatures and still be comfortable. Overall, this has been by far my favorite pad to sleep on yet. And if somebody would have told me that 6 years ago, I wouldn't have gotten this. I wouldn't have gotten this. And I wouldn't have gotten to this. This big behemoth. I don't even know which Thermarest this is, some kind of heavy one. Now, I still would have gotten this. This is the Thermarest X-Therm. It's my winter pad. It's awesome in cold temperatures. You can take this well below freezing, down to 0, and I've been completely comfortable in this. So I would still have this one, but I'd go for this 3 seasons. It's more comfortable in my opinion. And it's a lot quieter too to sleep on. That's the Nemo Tensor insulated and my number 2. All right, number 3 on my list, water storage. No, seriously, it's not just a smart water bottle. That'd be funny if that was, but it's the whole system. Smart water bottle. My Canuck Vecto bag. Love this thing. Or Evernew, my Evernew bag. So The Knock bag is a 2-liter bag. The Evernew bag is also a 2-liter bag. And my Smart Water with sports cap is a 1-liter. So for me, I wish somebody would have told me sooner that you didn't have to carry this thing around, or multiple of these things around on your backpacking trip. You can use lightweight, collapsible storage for your extra water, and then you can have something as cheap and easy and convenient to drink out of on trail. So one of these is going to be, that's usually this one, is going to be my dirty water bag. I'm going to filter it, and then I may store it in here or in here to drink out of. And then as this gets empty, I'm going to refill this and drink out of this on trail. It's just a super convenient, easy way to store your water and carry it. And then when it's not being used, you can roll it up and it doesn't take up much space. So versus something like this, of course this thing's heavier, but one of the bigger things is when this thing's empty, it still takes up the exact same amount of space. This doesn't. I love that I can take this guy and roll it up and stick it in a side pouch with this, and that's all I need. So water storage is my number 3. Number 4, my favorite things I wish somebody would have told me about is my water filters. Now specifically, I'm talking about the Be-Free filter and the Sawyer Squeeze. I wish somebody would have pointed me towards either one of these, because I would have been super content knowing way back then what I know now. And what that is that these are awesome filters. There's pros and cons to both, and there's different functionality for both. But both of these are awesome, and I have no hesitation recommending both of these to anybody and everybody that's looking for a good way to get drinkable water out backpacking. That would have saved me from, well, first, like the iodine tablets, which were awful. Didn't like the taste. They, don't clear out the water, and so you have issues too with sediment and things like that. So that was no good. And then I upgraded and I got the Sawyer Mini, which that was a mistake. This thing, like everybody else's, talks about, clogs pretty easily. It's hard to keep clear. The flow rate just isn't so great. Didn't love it. And it wasn't until I made the move to the full size, the Sawyer Squeeze, it was like a light bulb went on. This thing has been awesome. It's much easier to keep clean. I've got a couple of these now. I've got this one and a backup that's ready to go if this one ever does fail. But it hasn't. It just keeps working on and on and on. Now, I've started to use the Be-Free too in the last year because I think just the convenience of having, I love the collapsible bags. So having a collapsible bag that your filter just goes right into was kind of a no-brainer. Now, I kind of get the same thing with my Knock bag and the Sawyer Squeeze. So, put these together, and then you can also make it into a gravity system. Just so user-friendly. I love this setup, and I love this one as well. So the Sawyer Squeeze and the Be-Free filter. I wish I would have known that a long time ago. All right, and before we do number 5, if you found this at all informational, useful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like that video. It does help the channel. I really appreciate it. Do it. Hit like. All right. Number 5, and that is Permethrin. I wish I would have known about this sooner. Even before I started backpacking, in my camping days, car camping, all of that stuff. A good bottle of Permethrin, treating your clothing, makes a world of difference. When we went to Boundary Waters a few years ago and the mosquitoes come at you with a vengeance, or Like this past year, this summer, when we did the adventure hiking trail in southern Indiana, which is about the most tick-infested section of trail I have ever seen, the Permethrin worked like a charm. The ticks would climb onto your pant legs and then go falling off, jumping off in a matter of seconds. The stuff is amazing. It protects you from mosquitoes, from ticks, chiggers, you name it. If you don't like the creepy crawlies and, getting bit up or having to lather yourself constantly with Picardin or DEET, then look into Permethrin. The stuff is amazing. The spray bottles like these last 6 weeks or 6 washings. So if you're getting ready for a big trip, you touch up your clothes, let them dry, and you've got that protection all trip long. The stuff's amazing. Well, that's it. That's my top 5. Now, I'm going to leave all that information down in the description box below. So if you want to get more information, do a deeper dive, just scroll on down there. It'll all be there. For my more experienced hikers and backpackers in the audience, I'd love to hear in the comment section, what are the 5 things you would tell yourself way back when you started that would make a big difference in your backpacking career? And if you're a newer hiker or backpacker in the audience, of the list that I gave, what's one thing that you might look a little bit closer at to maybe adding to your kit? I'd love to hear that as well. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, be well.